Greetings, it's Saturday, December 5th, and I've gotten off to something of a late start today, but that's that little thing I mentioned about my sleep patterns not actually being patterns, more like random accidents. I want to start out with a quick shout out to some new subscribers since the beginning of the month. Excuse me for looking at a list here. Okay, N4TT1 in Tampa, 316 Lunatics, Cat Black 1, SG Fox 10, Beth and NC Blogger, Get Fit Gamer. Thanks for subscribing. Now obviously, as the number of subscribers increases, the likelihood of doing a shout out to each and every one of them is less likely, but I'll keep it up for as long as that's reasonable. You want to hear a funny? I got a funny for you. Last night's supper was what I would call an adventure in fail. It was fail from the word go. I started out going to Walmart yesterday afternoon, and I picked up some Napa cabbage and some red onions and some red leaf lettuce and some green onions. I wanted to change up my little stir-fry thing so that it wouldn't go getting boring on me, because things like that can, if it's basically the same thing you're doing every day, after a while you start wondering, why am I eating this? Then later on I go ahead and get ready to start supper, and I'm looking around and I can't find my Napa cabbage and red onions, green onions, and the red leaf lettuce. It's nowhere to be found. And I'm like, well, doggone it, I must have walked out of Walmart and left it in the cart or something. And of course, obviously, there's no going back to Walmart 4 hours later and saying, oops, I left my stuff in the cart, do you know where it is? And they're going to look at me like, yeah, right. So I settled down to just making the same thing again. I get out the Vidalia onion and I get out the cabbage, some lettuce to add some bulk, some diced tomatoes and so on. And I go ahead and start that going. And as I usually do, I get it going, I turn the heat down a little bit, and I go in the other room to the computer while that simmers down a little bit, because that takes a while. That cabbage is kind of rough and my teeth aren't in such good shape anymore, so I need to have it cooked down to where it's not quite so crunchy. I think it's probably 10 or 15 minutes later, I smell something not too great, sort of burning, and all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, there goes my rabbit food. And I race back to the kitchen, and sure enough, it's about halfway burned. But it's not completely lost cause, so I turn the heat down, I get the thing off the heat, cool it off, stir it up. Some of it has stuck to the bottom of the skillet. Of course, I left it there. I didn't scrape it up because I don't want to eat carbon. And anyway, I managed to salvage it. That's the main point. I managed to salvage it. It wasn't as good as it could have been, but it wasn't altogether bad either. So shopping was fail, and supper was fail. And then, to add insult to injury, after I finish the half-burned rabbit food, it isn't, but it's what I thought of it as. It was half-burned, and I think of it as rabbit food. After I finish this mess, I'm coming back out to the kitchen to toss the dish in the sink, and lo and behold, sitting on top of the freezer, there's a Walmart bag that I forgot when I was putting stuff away. I set it there originally because it was in the way, and then apparently when putting stuff away I forgot it. And so in that bag, guess what? There's my Napa cabbage, my red onions, my green onions, my red leaf lettuce. And so I thought shopping was failed, but then that was wrong. That much is good. Supper was failed because I thought shopping was failed. And then to add insult to injury, I could have had what I wanted to start with if only I had looked over at the freezer. But why would I look at the freezer when the stuff I'm using is fresh? On that note, I've got a whole bunch of old episodes of Community Channel on the quick list. I'm going to start that playing and get on the bike, and hopefully today won't be loaded with quite so much fail, especially fail at fail. And if you haven't been watching Community Channel, I suggest you do. She's funny as all get out.